Hi, I'm Robin, aka Bebe. I'm from North Carolina, and I'm here for an Etsy shop audit. I know that I've got a huge hole in my shop with where I could put birthday shirts, but I need something that sells all year round because the only thing driving that shop right now are those.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get rocking and rolling here. So yeah, it's Hello Bebe. Is that how you say it?
Bebe.
Bebe. Okay.
Bebe.
Yeah, 3 years is the shop age. Targeting moms and grandparents. That sounds terrible. Targeting. You are looking to sell them products. And then total revenue is 18,500. To date, income goal is double all-time sales. I just did the math, $37,000. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right. Yes.
All right, cool. Let us know then. The shop age is 3 years old.
Correct.
For those 3 years, how active have you been?
I think I didn't put anything up until August of 2021. And then I started having sales. I think my first sale was September the 6th. And honestly, I did great September, October, and then everything goes dead in December. So I knew I needed something to sell all year round, but just have not. I work full time as a buyer. And so I just did not, I just didn't know which direction to go in. So I'm glad I found you guys because Everbee, I was looking at that last night and I was thinking about some different directions that I wanted to go in. And at least I have some direction. And then, you know, when you talk about putting a new product up, it's like, okay, well, what do I put on it? Is this, and not wasting my time.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's like, okay, what are the popular birthday shirts? And my grandkids right now are sort of aged out of my shop.
Okay.
So I used to ask them, okay, hey guys, do you like this? You know?
Right.
I've got some kids next door or grandparents next door that I could ask their grandkids. And I've got a little girl across the street, but she loves everything. So I know that I've got a huge hole in my shop with where I could put birthday shirts, but I need something that sells all year round because the only thing driving that shop right now are those dragon wings and masks, and that's it. So I need something all year round to go with, but I don't want to keep a lot of inventory on the floor either.
Got it. Okay. So you're not doing print on demand then?
No.
Okay. Do you have any interest in doing print on demand?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad that we
something that I don't have to sew all the time, you know, or make.
Yeah.
Something that could bring in easy
Yep.
things.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
cool.
that I think is something that's really cool. Your face told me everything that I needed to know about that. You were like, yeah, that would be the greatest thing ever. Right. I see what you have behind you. I see that you're struggling with the materials. And you said, I don't want to have too much inventory on the floor. And that is one of the biggest challenges with having an evergreen product. When you can't sell something that's you have to have 38 sizes of a birthday t-shirt or whatever it is. That's the beauty of print on demand. And I think one thing, Scott, that a lot of people miss out on, and Robin, I don't know if you felt this way too. They say, hey, I hand make everything. Should I open a different shop for print on demand? The answer is no. You can have, just like with digital products, you can have handmade and print on demand. And for some of the personalized stuff or whatever, it's totally okay to mix those two things together. So I'm glad to hear, Robin, that you are open to that. I had one other question about the revenue, Scott, before we dive into this. So we said it's about 3 years. I think you said August of 2021. 18, almost $19,000. What does that look like over those 3 years? Is it growing? Is it stagnant? Like what does that breakdown look like?
It's not growing. I did like $8,000 the first year. And I think that was due to COVID and China not being able to get things into the country. I think that was a lot of it. 2022, I did 6,000, and this year I did 4. So it's going down. My sales are going down in Etsy. So I need to find a way to bring them up. And I don't know if the dragon mask and wings are just not cutting it anymore, because that is what I sell the most of. I did put a Christmas stocking in there, and I started running ads like, I think I saw one of your videos, the 1st of, was it November? I think it was
Mhm.
the 1st of November.
Yeah.
And at least I had some sales in December. I was very pleased.
Okay.
So it wasn't a lot, but I mean, it's something
Sure.
to where
Sure.
it was nothing before. So I like,
So who would you say then I know you said grandparents and moms, right? Like, is there more of is there a specific occasion? Is there a specific, like, I'm trying to see, like, moms is really broad, grandparents broad, right? It's like, okay, the person searching for the thing is a mom, but what are they searching for?
well, they could be searching for, and that's what's really hard because they could be searching for a Valentine's shirt. They could be searching for Easter shirt. They could be searching for back to school stuff. Um, I know that my daughter likes to get things for the kids to wear, shirts for them to wear. So those are the occasions that she does for them.
Okay.
And also Thanksgiving or Halloween.
Is
She'll
there
buy
a certain
for them.
theme that you are seeing that, and the reason why I'm asking this is, we had a client way back, probably about 3 years ago now, and all that they sold was shirts, t-shirts, and it was, they didn't, and they were for kids, but the name of their company, I believe, was like Southern Co. And all they did was Southern stuff for kids. So it'd be like,
Oh,
you
no.
know, tractor, and then
Yeah.
it might
So
be hunting and
Yeah.
fishing and
I
right.
mean,
But that's all it was targeting Southern style, right? And I'm not saying that's what you're going to do, but I'm
okay.
saying, like, try to figure out what is that thing that your theme could be, that you could have someone come in and look at that shirt and go, that's really adorable. That's cute. And then another design comes out and they're like, oh, I got to get that for little Johnny too.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
and I
So
think
that's what I'm thinking.
and Scott, I may be cheating because I have the shop pulled up on my side, so I've seen what
Yeah.
what Robin is selling. But I think this is a good time to point out that our niche is not necessarily the person making the purchase. It's the person using the product, right? So in your case, Robin, grandparents and moms are not your niche. Your niche is actually the kids that
The
are using it.
kids.
The customer, because kids don't have credit cards,
Right.
unless I miss something. The customer is going to be the parent buying the thing for their kid, but your
Yes.
niche is actually the kids themselves. And I think, Scott, what you pointed out, and I think it's Southern Boy Co. And
Yes.
what they figured out was their niche was like Southern kids, right? So it was country music, country sayings, like Southern sayings, some of
Yeah.
those kinds of things, right? I love fishing and Jesus, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And they knew that the parents were going to be the people buying it, but the actual customer was the kid. And I think we run into that same issue here. And if we look, Robin, even here, right? Like, this is great. I love seeing this little dude running around here. And I think you said this is kind of your top selling thing, right?
It
It's
is.
the dragon mask and the wings. And so what I'm seeing just looking at this is more of like the costume side of this. Now, that's harder to do if you're adding in print on demand, but it doesn't have to be the only part of this. And we can also think about this as like a special occasion thing for kids or something like that.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes on how these Etsy shop audits even happen. Every single month, Chris Schaefer and we meet and we batch record 3 to 4 of these episodes. Then they get edited and they get posted like the one you're watching right now. But what we decided to do is create what we call our Backstage Pass Club. This is where all of our club members, they get to join us on that recording as we're doing it live. The other cool thing is you're able to ask questions, and you also can get access to the recordings before they ever air, immediately, raw and unedited. You even get all the questions that were asked that you might have missed because, well, maybe you couldn't attend that one live. So if you'd like to be part of our Backstage Pass Club and join our next batch recording session, head on over to brandcreators.com/club or click the link in the description. Now, let's get back to the audit.
Right? Like the reason that I would imagine my grandma buying something like this is to have it at her house for when the grandkids are there. Right. And so that's how she would probably use the dragon mask and the wings. Like, yeah, she might give it to somebody as a gift, but she would have had this in the toy chest at grandma's house for us to use, you know, whether it was me, my brother, my cousins, right? Whoever's there. That's how that would be used. And so the question is your passion more in the costume side of this, or is it in the creativity and, you know, getting special things, creating special experiences for the kids and grandkids? Like, where is the passion there?
Creating, I love creating things, but it's probably going to be more in the experience for the kid. You know, I love to create something and see that they enjoy it.
I got an idea real quick. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, fine. Go ahead.
And again, as we're doing these, like we're brainstorming, I'm getting ideas, right? So dragons, fairy tales, okay? Fairy tale kind of girl, dragon kind of boy. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but generally, right? So if you got more people in to your shop, not from necessarily a costume, because you're not always going to be looking for a costume, right? It's like, that's just something that maybe is more around Halloween or maybe a certain time of year, maybe a movie comes out, like whatever. But what if you had like sweatshirts, shirts, you know, even banners for a girl's room or a boy's room that was dragon or magical, like fairy tale kind of stuff, right? And now you're taking your you're taking your entire you know, catalog and spreading it out amongst other things that are still related to, you know, dragons, and, you know, little boys like dragons, right? And little girls like magical fairy tales and stuff.
Little girls like dragons too.
And they do.
I was going to say big boys like dragons too. I don't know.
A lot of those to little girls too.
So, okay, that's even better, right? So what I'm saying is for you to create these other print on demand products that you don't have to actually do anything, as far as just got to create the design.
Right.
And you put out all of these other products. Now, again, I would do some product research, look at kids' shirts and see if there's anything selling in dragons or even animals or something, right? That's, or, you know, maybe mystical, you know, like any of that stuff. Like, I would look at that stuff because that's going to bring the people in, or the parents in. And then when the parents get in, they'll be like, oh my gosh, these costumes are cool. They would love to dress up and put them around, you know? So now I'm thinking we're just broadening the reach of bringing people into the shop. And once they get into the shop, they might buy your other thing. And you're going to make money on those other items, right? So Chris has been doing some playing over there with Everbee, it looks like.
So it's funny that you said that, Scott, because as soon as I pulled up the shop analysis, the first thing that popped up in there was the stocking, Robin, that you created with the dragon on it. Yeah. And that's actually the same angle that I'm going down, just looking at that, is saying, okay, can we create not necessarily like castle princess only, not necessarily superhero only, but what are the things that create really cool experiences for kids? What are the things that they're into? And can we create products that don't infringe on people's intellectual property, right? We're not talking about adding in Disney princesses or whatever. No. But what are the things that we can create? And this one really stood out to me, right? It's about my superpower, or it's about my, you know, my fairy tale, right? Like these kinds of things. And I think there's a lot of room for you to create products that are print on demand, be it a t-shirt, a pillow, whatever, that will allow you to expand into that, creating really cool experiences for kids and letting them explore who they are or identify who they are, and saying, you know, I'm a fairy tale princess pillow. I'm a dragon, whatever, like coming up with some of those things. We are going to do a bit of niche validation here. But to me, looking at what's in your shop, that is not something that would require you to literally sew it like the mask and the wings do. Is there something there? And it really looks like there is, just going back and looking at this.
I mean, you could create a print on demand version of something like that, you know,
princess
of a
reading pillow.
Yep. Of a pillow, or put that on a shirt too. Like my superpower, reading, with that superhero on there. Right.
Okay.
That's a cute idea, right?
Yeah, the peppermint fairy, right? Granted, this is labeled as a Christmas sweatshirt, right? But some of these kinds of things, I think, can start to go a long way to helping you figure out what that niche is. And to me, that niche is really about kids' experiences and helping kids identify who they are, right? I don't want to sit here and define that for you, but that's what I'm seeing here. That seems to be the common thread here among these products. And so if there's a way for us to tie that in, then that's even better.
Yeah, it was great. Shelly in the comments had a good point. She said, then you can expand to math and science, right? Math is my superhero or is my superpower, you know? And so, and you repurposing that superhero flying, right? So again, these are ideas you got to validate, but again, it's for us to be able to reach outside of just people looking for a costume, right?
Okay.
Or a
Yes.
dress thing,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And allowing you to get into the print on demand game.
Yes. Yes.
You know? So I really like that idea. So to me, it sounds like your niche isn't moms and grandparents. Your niche is kids, right?
True.
And it's going after kids that like dragons and you know, fairy tale, you know, again, like all of that mystical type of stuff, right? Like imaginary, you know, like imagination, like all of that. That's your niche.
Pretend play.
Yeah, pretend play. Like, and you know what? This could even be catered towards teachers. You could market this to teachers that might want to get something for maybe a pillow for the classroom that you know, goes up there, and then the kid of the week goes up there and gets to read because their superpower is a reader and they're going to read to the class. Like you could get it. I'm just again exploring outside that you could also then start targeting teachers. For the classroom.
All right. Sounds good.
So that's kind of where I see it. Like, I think you have a great foundation. You've got a shop that's established. And I mean, established. It's been through all of the, you know, all of the hurdles of a new shop. You like, you know, getting suspended and, you know, your banking information didn't line up or whatever. So, and you have personalization here too, right? So you have an opportunity to do a personalized pillow that is all done. And all you'd have to do is basically type in the name.
Yes,
You don't have
correct.
to sew it, you know. Chris, anything else you think that we need to dig into here?
I think the biggest thing is figuring out what that focus is and really drilling in on that. And Robin, don't let us like talk you into that as the niche. Really actually sit down and think through this, right? Just because that's what Scott and I see does not necessarily mean that's the direction that you want to go. But again, just based on this conversation, it feels like that would be an okay expansion of this for you, because everything that's in here is really about helping the kids expand and understand who they are. And if we can focus on that on the design side, then we can really start to expand this. And Scott, I got to look here. So basically we're looking to double the all-time sales. So that would mean, Shelly,
about 37,000 for the year.
Yeah. So that would mean doing 37,000 this year. Robin, was that the goal?
I mean,
or do you just mean in general?
I would like to, but I don't see that happening. I mean,
and why?
No.
Why?
I've got to sit down and figure out probably where I'm going to go with this. And print on demand is new for me. So I'm not sure. I'm very picky about, okay, if this product gets to my customer, I want to make sure that it looks good, they like the fit, all of that. I'm very picky about that. So I mean, if the customer asks to return it, usually, I mean, and most of the time I'll say, yeah, go ahead and return it. And then most of the time they don't return it. So I mean, you know, even if I tell them they can, they don't. Because I had a grandparent just buy a dragon wing and mask for their grandchild. And I mean, I know how it is because I bought stuff for my grandkids. And she said she just doesn't really like it. And I'm like, that's fine. You can go ahead and return it. Not a problem. So I don't have a problem with returns. I guess just getting into the print on demand game, I'm not sure how to do that. So that's a big thing for me because I usually do everything myself, actually.
Okay. So number one, I mean, a lot of it is, you know, it's, if you're going to use Printify, they have, videos and tutorials and showing you how to do it. This will be a shameless plug. If you haven't been through 123 Pod Fast Track, I would recommend going through that, for
Okay.
less than $100. We'll
Okay.
take you through the entire process. Like
Okay.
literally, like click by click, step by step.
Actually, I think I started that. I did pay for that. I started that. And since I work, I think I did it at lunch, and then I didn't have time to go back and do it, but I will.
So that's going to be a priority. Yeah. I think, honestly, if you want to get to that stage to where, and I'm just going to use $3,000 a month, right? That gets you to 36K for the
36,
year.
yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't see that as being a hard thing for you being in the kids market, right? In
Right.
that niche.
Right.
And then having the products that you currently sell, but now leveraging print on demand is going to only allow you to do that. And it's going to be able to allow you to do it without having to sew more things and embroider more things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's like your first 3 month. I give people like 3 months, like goals.
Okay.
That's the 3 month thing, is like get products launched using print on demand and have like I said, you're selling pillows right now. Create some print on demand versions, right? Doesn't mean you can't stop selling yours. And as far as like quality, you can order samples if you want, or you can just trust that the company that you're going through, you look at the reviews that they've been given by supplier or by sellers like us.
Right. Okay.
And then if there was a problem, guess what? You're going to do the same thing. You know what? And you know what we do? It's a lot of times we're like, keep it, and we'll send you another one, or we'll go ahead and send you a refund.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't happen much, but when
Okay.
it does, the customers are like, oh no, I don't want to do that to you. Like, you don't have to refund me or whatever, just send another one or whatever. But customer service is big for us too. And that doesn't have to change.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All
You
right.
just have to, after you do it a little bit, you're going to also start to trust the suppliers that you're using, because you're using them all the time.
Right.
And then I think that's a big hurdle for a lot of people getting into the print on demand side of this, is they say, well, I want to be able to control it, right? Like, Robin, you literally make everything right now. So you have 100% control over the quality. And I think where a lot of people get distracted is they say, oh, there are going to be mistakes from time to time. Yes. Is somebody from UPS occasionally going to run the box over with the UPS truck? Yes, it happens. And the question is, how do we deal with it on the back end? It's very rare, right? It's not something that's going to happen on a daily basis, but it is something that we have to deal with. And I would deal with it, Scott, like you said, exactly the same way you're dealing with it now.
Yep.
In the rare instance where that occurs, hey, let me just send you a new one. It's going to cost you $12 or whatever it is to send a new one out. They'll be over the moon about it, and you can move on from there. I wanted to point out to you, you said you wanted to double sales. So that's 36,500, right? Well, there's 365 days in a year. I'm no math genius. Somebody can fact check me on this. Either if you're a Backstage Pass member and you're doing this live, or just in the comments below this video. But I believe that would be about $100 a day in sales, right? Yep. To be able to do that. And if you've heard Scott and I talk about this, we typically shoot for about $10 profit on sales, which would mean you would only need 10 sales a day to hit that number. Now, are you going to hit that by the end of this month? No, right? So are you necessarily going to get to that $36,000 this year? Maybe, because you're going to have, different periods where you're getting more or less traffic, but you're at a place right now where you will be able to start building that velocity, building that flywheel, building that snowball right now. So by this time next year, you're going to be at 10, 12, 15, 20 sales a day, which will get you to that 36,000 and potentially double or triple that by this time next year, at least be on that path. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's a lot easier to think about it in the number of sales than it is at the dollar value. When you think, okay, I've done 18,000 over my life. Okay, but if we can get you to just 10 sales a day, you hit that number.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So that's your homework.
Okay.
All right. So like I said, to other auditees, is, 3 months is what I like to see, like a pure focus on. And for you, I think like we can go through your shop and say, oh, maybe the banner, we can do this, or maybe we can do this with categories. But I think we've identified the niche. We've identified it even to sub niche it. And now it's just a matter of like making that a reality. And I mean, if you put products up that are related to what we're talking about, I don't know how it can't work, to be honest.
Okay. All right.
Sound good?
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. So that's a wrap for this Etsy shop audit. But if you want to watch more, well, you can find some more right here. And if you do, well, I'll see you there.